Well, good morning everybody. We got a lot of things to do and I got a very short amount of time. As you can see behind me, there is a storm right on the path. So we've got some planting to do, some tying up to do, check on the chickens. I want to take a quick peek at the bee entrance and see what they're doing and maybe do a little bit of harvesting. And I got about 30 minutes maybe before it starts storming bad. So let's go ahead and get this started, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna plant. All right, so we're gonna plant some more lima beans, replant our sugar pumpkins, attempt to at least. And then I actually came across this. I'm gonna use this to tie up some tomatoes and stuff, and I made a big boo-boo, and I'll show you why in just a few minutes. So we did an episode on the Backyard Gardens podcast recently about filling gaps, and this is exactly what I'm doing. I used to, and I still would use bush beans to do it, but instead this year I'm gonna try bush lima beans. Never done it, so we're just gonna get a couple started in here and just see what happens, you know? You never know what good can come out of a little experiment. So I don't know if I've said this before on this platform, but this is gonna be really good for us because they can dry. And so, you know, having dried beans around the house will really help. And I'm gonna pack these pretty tight. So let's just do 2 random ones right on the edge and see how that works out for us. Now, I guess I forgot to mention, and I do want to say this right now, it is June 23rd. It is 86 degrees outside, and I am in zone 8A in North Carolina, and I'm planting these things. So just because you're in a certain zone or something, you know, just kind of letting you know what time of year it is, so maybe you can use this to your advantage as well in the future. But we have those small sugar pumpkins, which I've been calling winter pumpkins, but this one is called a sugar pumpkin. So we're gonna plant those, and the other ones just got stunted or something. I don't know. I think they started growing when it was cold. So I figured we're gonna take advantage of this rain and just let nature make them germinate for us.
Warning. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for your location. Take immediate action for your protection.
Well, there you go. That's my cue to hurry the hell up, wouldn't you say? When I start getting phone calls about stuff like that, it's time to hurry. So let's get this stuff in the ground because I can hear the rumbles, I can feel the wind, but I haven't felt the temperature drop, so we should be good. These are stunted. I'm gonna plant next to them. I'm not really going to remove them yet. And I mean, I'm like 85% sure that they're not gonna grow, but you know, the gardener in me just can't just give up on it completely. So until these start growing, we're just gonna leave them, get these in the ground and see what happens. See if we can't have a redo. You know, every once in a while you need a redo, right? I love direct sowing. It's so easy. Put it in the ground, let the rain come because it's just about to rain, walk away. It's just nothing better than for planting. So, and all I've been doing for the bees real quick is just checking on the hive entrance. And so you can see if we get a little bit closer here, those are just the guard bees, letting them in and out, protecting it. No major issues, so we are moving in the right direction. And for that, I'm thankful. I still haven't even gone in the hive yet. I just want to let them get comfortable. But the cool thing is, as I can see them, they start to come up and they're doing their test flights and they're coming up and then they're just kind of going straight up. And like the first day they'd go out to the trellis, they'd turn around, and now they're starting to go into the woods. You know, each day they keep going farther and farther. So it's pretty sweet. I like that. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any of this harvesting done. I do really want to try and get some of the tomatoes so they don't bust, but I can sit here watching the storm roll in. It's unpleasant. All right, so supposedly this stuff lasts 18 to 24 months. So I'm not gonna leave it that long, but it should last at least through the summer, right, in theory. So this is that tomato that fell over, and what I'm gonna do is just come over here and get some of this out. Yeah, it's gonna hold. Surprise, surprise. And I'm just gonna start the process of pulling it up. So I'll cut a little extra. Cut's easy too. That's a plus, a big plus. And so I just feel what the plant's telling me. I don't want to pull too much on it, but just pull on it some, tie it up, and then just give it some time to get comfortable there, see what happens. I thought the plant was gonna maybe die off because, you know, it kind of pulled. Actually, this stuff is so stretchy, I might have to go a little crazy with it. I thought it was gonna die off because it fell over and the stem looked kind of collapsed, but much to my surprise, that was not the case. Hey, so now that that one's done, I do have one over here that if I don't tie it up today, it will fall. So we got to make sure we stay on top of that. Look at that. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but that is a dark sky coming straight for us. Which means downpours, which is not good for dry gardens. This is the one I did before. I tied it here, and now I want to tie it up here. So just to kind of give it a little bit extra because it could bend over in half. Now, don't be like I did and just cut one that's way too short. Give yourself some room to work with, especially when you're tying a knot with something this thick. My goodness. That's all nice and secured, so we should be good. Now this isn't a daily occurrence, but anytime I hear that there's something like this coming through, I really do want to come out because, you know, it takes one gust of wind and like everything you've worked for is ruined and it just sucks. Now here's a mistake that I made. So what I did is I came out here, so I'm gonna tie up this cherry tomato right now, but I'm gonna have to do it while I talk so I can save time. But what I did is I planted all these seconds tomatoes and then I didn't cage them right away. And that was kind of an issue. So same with this, like I just let this one get super long and leggy. So, I mean, thankfully I can come out here and tie this one up and it's not, this one wasn't an issue because I decided to use a bamboo stake, which I did harvest out of my side yard because we have plenty of bamboo, unfortunately. So we'll never, ever, ever run out of bamboo stakes. So I try to use them as much as I can. But for all of these Romas, it was kind of an issue because I wanted to use the cages because they really do work better. And truth be told, I care about Romas way more. But when I was putting them on, I was like having to feed all of the foliage through and I was breaking some off. And so you see what happened was all of this is laying on the ground. So in a couple of days, we're gonna have to come out and trim it up again. So that's kind of a setback. I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but what I do think is that I should be better than that and I should know better. And it just slipped my mind. I mean, these things happen, right? Things slip my mind. Just like checking on these chickens slipped my mind. So I gotta get one of the chickens we think have been eating an egg, and I don't think that's the case. So we're trying to get the eggs multiple times a day. So there you go, 4 eggs. 4 warm eggs too. 4 warm eggs and a nasty storm all at once. This isn't the kind of storm I want to stay in. Ooh, it's kind of brutal. So we're gonna let this storm pass. All right, if I didn't see lightning, I would 100% go out there and harvest my red tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this pass and then I'm gonna go back out and just try and get the tomatoes, because if we get extra water, like a lot of it, it'll cause them to crack, especially the ones in the pots because they've had inconsistent watering. So, and what I mean by that is like I haven't been the best at watering, mostly because I haven't felt like they need it. But once you start having it, you just start doing that and you get like a big flush of rain like this, they'll definitely crack. So I'm gonna try and go out there right after this stops before the plant has time to soak up all that water and crack those red tomatoes. So it's a good thing. We're getting red tomatoes, right? And the rain is truly a blessing. So Here we go, but we got our seeds started, and that's what really matters.
Goodbye.